Want to welcome Ohio State and Coach Kevin McGuff. We will begin the press conference with an opening statement by Coach, then turn it over to the players. We would ask that you raise your hand and identify yourself when you're wanting to call in a question and direct the player or coach personally, okay? Coach, go ahead and make an opening statement on tonight.
I'll just let these guys fire away. Questions?
Okay, well, then we'll go to the players to get you guys out of here quicker. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions for the players. Go ahead.
Thanks for the time, Thomas Costello, SB Nation. Cody, in the fourth quarter, you missed those 2 free throws of the 4 that you had, but then you hit the 2 most important free throws. Can you walk through that moment and just how loud it was and just hitting those free throws and what you felt after hitting that second one?
Sorry. Honestly, I didn't really hear anything. I was kind of cussing myself out, like, if I don't make these free throws, then we're going home, so I just made them.
Brianna McKay, the Columbus Dispatch. Taylor, it felt like you really started to come alive in the second half. Can you just talk about your mindset going from the first to the second half and what kind of started working for you?
Yeah, I was struggling a bit in the first half, and I just tried to stay confident, tried to stay positive, not get in my head, but also my teammates were very encouraging, and they have a lot of confidence in me. So just letting the game kind of come to me and just have confidence in myself and just try to find areas that I can contribute to this team so we could win.
Coach, for you, what did you see tonight from Iowa's zone defense that kind of made it difficult on you guys? And then how did you break through sort of towards the end to get the points you needed to obviously come up with a win?
Yeah, they played a lot of zone defense today, which they hadn't played against us the first time, but have played it more lately. And, in the first half, I just did not think we moved the ball or ourselves around too much or had a sense of urgency to do that. But as the game went on, especially late, I thought we got a lot better shots. And then we stepped up and we made some.
Okay. Again, questions for the players.
For the players, Taylor and Cody, can you talk about just getting a second win against Iowa this season? I know they're always a tough matchup, and they're always a team that seems like the Ohio State's excited to play against.
It felt good. Like we've said before, this game's always personal, so it felt good.
For both of you as well. You guys were here last year when you were knocked out in the quarterfinals. Can you talk about how much you kind of thought back to that feeling and how much you just didn't want to repeat that?
I mean, yeah, it was just kind of easy, or simple as it sounds. Like we didn't want to lose. We didn't want to lose our first game and go home right away. So, again, just finding a way. This time of the season, it's hard to get a win, so just finding a way.
For either of you, I guess what is the anticipation? I don't know if you saw this before heading onto the floor, but going against UCLA tomorrow, how excited are you guys for that challenge going against one of the best teams in the Big Ten?
Honestly, just executing our game plan, trusting the coaches and what they have for us to do. So I just say execute our game plan, play our game.
And then one more for the 2 of you. For Jelani, she had a couple early fouls, and it seemed like she was kind of nervous to go into the paint until later on in the game whenever she only had 2 fouls in the last quarter. Is there anything you say to Jelani? Because it seemed like it's kind of in her head not going to the basket or trying to avoid picking up another foul.
Yeah, just trying to encourage her and help her to stay positive and just not let things that she can't control her. So I think she did a pretty good job, but like I said, just trying to encourage her.
Okay, we'll go. Did you have one for the players?
Yeah, just one last thing. It felt like in the second half, the defense was running. It was kind of producing the offense. Can you talk about how important it was locking down on defense and getting that figured out first?
Yeah, I think our defense kind of contributes to our offense, so we're just trying to guard the ball and not getting driven by really easily, but just executing defensively, making it hard for them to score, boxing out, getting rebounds. I think that's important for us, but just like I said, our defense contributes to our offense.
Okay, we'll go ahead and let the players get back to the locker room, open it up for questions for Coach, and if you want to go ahead, feel free.
Yeah, I'm going to start. You had Ebony playing a little more than you usually did today. Can you talk about the decision to put her in and how she impacted the game?
Thought Ebony gave us fantastic minutes off the bench. She's played in a lot of games at Ohio State. She really has a great understanding of what we do, and I thought her execution was at a little bit higher level with her on the court, and so I was just really proud of her and happy she could come in, and she looked like a senior playing in her last Big Ten tournament.
Coach right here, Chris Megley with the Daily Iowa. It just seemed like after you guys got on a hot start for the rest of the game, it seemed like Iowa's defense kind of gave you a rough go for kind of the remainder of the game, even though you guys pulled it out. What is it about their defense that kind of made the offense struggle a little bit?
Yeah, credit to Iowa. I thought they played an excellent game, and they've had a fantastic run in the tournament here. They played a lot more zone defense than the first time we played them, and we didn't execute real well against it, and so that gave us problems. And I think late in the game we got a lot better shots, but for a while there we just kind of stood around and didn't move ourselves, didn't move the ball very effectively, and finally got it kind of right at the end. But Iowa played really great defense tonight.
Thanks for the time, Coach. Taylor and Cody and other players have talked over the last few years about how playing Iowa's personal, how they felt disrespected in the past few years. Do you see them preparing for a game like this any different than another game? Do you feel them maybe more at a heightened sense whenever they're going up against a team like Iowa, or a team that they feel is more of a rival to them?
Well, Iowa's got a great program. They've won a lot of basketball games. They've won this tournament 2 years in a row, and so give them credit. They've built something really good there, so we like the opportunity to measure ourselves against the best in this conference, and they're certainly one of those programs.
Ethan Peter, Quad City Times. Ava Hayden, number 5 for Iowa. She didn't play the first time you guys faced off against Iowa. What does she add to the Hawkeyes' offense and defense? Yeah,
she adds another physical presence around the basket. I thought she did a nice job getting good position. She finishes really well, and so she's a great player, and that gives them another efficient player that they can play in the paint, and so she's good. She hurt us tonight.
Okay, we're going to go 1, 2, then 3, and then we'll let Coach go. Go ahead.
It felt like Petty was playing well today, but you took her out a couple times. But can you just talk about the decision to take her out of the game and put Elsa in? What were you looking for there?
Yeah, just that their post players are really good, and I think you got to keep fresh bodies on them. And so a combination of Petty, Elsa, and Ebony was kind of the formula, and so that's why we were kind of trying to sub them to keep them fresh.
And free throws have been a difficulty for the team this year. I know Cody's had some games where she's hit like around 50% or so. In that final quarter where she hits both of those free throws, what was kind of going through your mind? You heard what Cody was.
Well, in general, on the last play, we wanted to get the ball in her hands and try to create some space for her to play in. And, she made the right play. She got fouled. And at that point, you got to step up and put yourself in position to make them, and she did. So really happy and proud that she could do that for us.
Final question for Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Lucy had 12 points in the first half, 2 in the second. It just seemed like there was different coverage on her in the second half, like more double teams. What did you change from your game plan going into the second half to kind of limit her offensively?
Yeah, we were trying to get the ball out of her hands if we could. She's a great player, and she's played extremely well against us the first time. And but it's tough too. She logged a lot of heavy minutes here for 3 games in 3 days, and so we wanted to wear on her with her full court pressure and then get the ball out of her hands in the half court.
Coach, we know you have a quick turnaround, so we thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, everybody.